right, housing, it's unaffordable. We now earn 40% too little to buy an average house anywhere in the United States. Now, underserved communities are falling further behind. We all know that. Yet there's rules in place for mortgage lenders called disparate impact with disparate outcomes. Now, that says if you can't get a loan for very often vast swaths of communities that cannot afford homes, your disparate outcome means you're in violation of the 1975 HMDA Act. Now, what if our reality does not mesh with HMDA and their directives with disparate outcomes? Again, check out this slide. Here's how much money you need to make to buy a home. The line on top here shows how much you need to make, and the line down below shows how much you actually make as a collective. That's the one below, meaning breaking into home buying is unfeasible for the vast majority of what would otherwise be called first-time home buyers, a near extinct species right now, with the vast majority of those being underserved communities, meaning HMDA, though a great thought, is for most a veritable impossibility.
HMDA, the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act of 1975, went into effect under the Fed's Regulation C. It was developed to address concerns and monitor the geographic targets of mortgage lenders by providing a way to identify predatory or discriminatory lending practices and to report statistics on the mortgage market to the government.
See, the thing is, HMDA is really a great idea, but right now it's almost impossible to meet. You can't do it. Homes are just too expensive. Or are they too expensive? Now I want you to look at this graph. Just pour over this and let it set in. This is our income distribution for the bottom 50%, 90 to 95%, and the top 10%. And finally, the top 1%. So as you can see here, how that pans out. On the left-hand side from 1946 to 1980, look at that income distribution. Now on the right-hand side of that vertical line is 1980 to today. Do you notice anything? Over the past 44 plus years, we have gutted the earning ability of 90% of our country. Just gutted it. A job well done and gone unchecked. And with, you understand this point as well, underserved communities carrying an overwhelming majority of this policy. And I say policy because what you're looking at, it just can't happen on accident. The bottom 50% of earners have been nothing short of decimated. 50 to 90% of our earners since 1980, not too far behind. A salt the earth policy of wage inequity that is, can you believe what you're looking at? Absolutely and utterly catastrophic. Now, with our wonderful government cash handout in 2020, we are paying the hangover in the form of out-of-control inflation. Inflation, by the way, it doesn't take into consideration the cost of energy or the cost of food. You know, the two things that we actually consume the most. Inflation that devalues the very little that you make. Now, we see this on steroids in housing, don't we? Not prices, but rather the outcome of inflation. Inflation deflates your pay with housing prices at the absolute top of what you need to get. So maybe it's not the homes are too expensive and the lenders and the realtors out there are engaged in disparate policies that push into disparate outcome situations and HMDA violations. No, maybe, just maybe, it's the policies that blew up inflation and the policies of monetary migration from those in the middle to those on the top that have created these outcomes and have made houses unaffordable. The only way to fix this is to build more homes, force builders to do it, a ton of homes. You know, the 6 to 10 million that we're behind right now that we all know needs to get done right now, and force the line back into the middle class. Then and only then will we correct our economy as a whole, because remember, the United States housing market is the biggest market in the world, one that is not so coincidentally attacking the livelihoods of real estate agents and lenders right now, with the tech-based solutions to both lenders and realtors, which, by the way, will end up costing more, creating a less personal experience for those who are buying and selling homes, and frankly, put more money in the pockets of those who have at the expense of the 90%. So if it's left unchecked, as it appears it's going to be, as our elected officials sit on their hands while the income migration exacerbates the situation even more. So guys, if this one's a downer, I'm sorry about that, but somebody had to say it. Here it comes with audits to us, I suppose, because this is not a popular message to share on top of the hill, especially during an election cycle. But damn it, this is all hiding in plain sight. We all know it, yet we play along like it's not happening, and it's all the mortgage and real estate industry's fault. Well, I'm here to tell you, it ain't. So isn't it bad that we don't have a representative voice in one of our associations that has the courage to bring this up and quit meddling in these ridiculous lawsuits? But we don't. Or perhaps these ridiculous lawsuits are just a distraction so we can continue policies that are driving the prices of homes up while taking the income out of the true middle class. And the true middle class is anybody who's outside of the top 10%.